Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. That's right. It's Monday, and you know what time it is. It's time to get motivated with me, your girl, Shay Samuels. As always, I want to first say thank you for tuning in. You could be doing anything in this world, but you've decided to spend the next 15 minutes right here with me getting motivated. So kudos to you. And remember, one brings one. So as you become motivated, encouraged, and inspired by these messages, why not pass it along? Why not pay it forward? Mondays are probably the most challenging days of the week because every weapon will form against you, but you can and will prosper. So I want you guys to stay to the end because that's where your challenge is going to be. That's where the challenge is going to be. You're going to go through something this week, and I guarantee you that if you stay to the end, what you're going to go through, you can overcome it by just staying to the end and implementing what you've learned today. Listen, these messages are all about gut checking ourselves. Forget what other people might be going through or why they're going through it. But these messages are all about you, the person who's watching, the person who's going to share, the person who's going to encourage someone else and motivate someone else. It's all about changing you. Gut check yourself first before looking at gut checking other people. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Listen, who doesn't like to gossip about people? Who doesn't like to call up that girlfriend and say, hey, listen, I got something to tell you about such and such? Who doesn't like walking in a store and seeing somebody with a too small pair of shorts on, or someone who shouldn't be, why is his haircut like that? Who doesn't? Who doesn't at one point of the day have something to say about someone else? It's natural. It's in our being. And it's unfortunate because it's become so rampant that now multiple people in this world have been hurt by just that gossip. So we're going to talk about that today because it is imperative and it's instrumental to your purpose that you get it. It's instrumental to the people around you who's going to be attached to your purpose to get it. So why not start with you? So I'm going to share a short story with you, but the title of this message today is There's Something Faulty on the Inside of Every Last One of Us. There is something faulty on the inside of every last one of us. A few weeks ago, I'm going to be very transparent. A few weeks ago, my daughter and I, we had a very, very, very bad spat. And this wasn't the first spat that we've had since she's been born, but this one here, it really, really, really took me out. I went in ways, I said things that I probably would have never said just on a very motivational day. And she said some things to me that she has said before, but the intensity of this was just a little bit different. When the argument was over, I went upstairs in my room and I had to think for a second. I am a motivational speaker. I'm a person who encourages people to think differently, to see differently, to speak differently, to hear differently. Why was this so difficult for me, especially with my daughter? And so when I went upstairs, I felt a little bad because of who I am. Okay, because of who I am. I'm the person that coaches people to see the best in them. So why is it so difficult for me to do this with my daughter? A couple of days after that, after not talking to her for a couple of days after that, I went downstairs in my office and I just really started praying about some things. And I said, how do I get her to see things the way that I get other people to see things? Now, the difference is you guys don't know me. You guys don't know me on a personal level. Some of you who are watching this may not know me on a personal level. But the people who I have been able to touch are people far across the world. So all they get a chance to see is this video. They get a chance to hear the audio on radio stations. They get a chance to go to my Facebook pages and Instagram pages and just be inspired by something I said. But this young lady, she lives with me. So how can I utilize what I'm so passionate about to change the dynamic in my household? So I prayed about that. A few days after that, I ended up going out for a while, going to the store, and I had to get my vehicle looked at. And just being obedient, I literally asked, I said, do you want to go to the store with me? So she got my grandkids together. We all got in the car and we went to drive off. Now, this part of the story that I want to share with you, it's going to bless every last one of you. Believer or not, it's going to bless you. And I'm going to tell you why. The first thing is we have to understand that the same storyline I gave in the beginning of us looking at someone like they're crazy, talking about what they have on. Why is their hair like that? Oh my God, no, our eyebrows don't look this way. Why is those shirts are too small. Those pants are too tight. Someone on the other end is doing the same thing with us. Can you imagine? Who you? Yes. Someone on the other end is doing the same thing with you. As you're walking in and out of the store, someone's saying, "Why does she have those pants on? Why does he have that on? Why is he with her? Why is she with him? Why is she pushing the cart that way?" Listen, someone's saying, "Why is she eating that sandwich like that? Why is she smacking in the ear? Why she got those sunglasses on? Why does he drive? Why is he driving that car?" There's someone on the other end saying something about you. So, as I'm driving this vehicle, a few weeks before that, I found out that there was a faulty piece in my vehicle. The brakes weren't going down all the way. So, I found that it was my booster and master cylinder that needed to be changed. So, as we're going out in this construction site in front of my home, there's a construction worker who comes out and he's yelling, "Stop, stop." He just ran out, "Stop." And I literally had to slam on the brakes harder than usual because the brakes are faulty. I said it immediately. I said it out, like literally. I said, "Oh, sir, don't do that because the brakes are bad." And right then and there, the motivational moment came. The opportunity for me to actually talk with my daughter about understanding and identifying and being sensitive with, we all have something faulty in us. Listen, I turned around and I looked at my daughter and I said, "Wow, that'll preach." Is what I said to her. I said, "That'll preach," because the vehicle on the outside looks properly fine. It looks fine. There's no dents. Now I'm wondering what would have happened if there were dents on the car or windshields that were broken or cracked. What would happen if the bumper was falling off? Would the construction worker decide to come out automatically like that? Would he use a bit more caution because it looks like the car has been through something? Listen, it blessed me. If it looked like the car had gone through something, would he literally run out the way that he did without caution to stop our vehicle? I don't think so. And that's the way we are with people. Because we don't see the outside broken, we don't see the outside battered, we don't see it bruised, we don't see it crashed up, we don't see the bumper falling off, we don't see the cracks in the windows, we don't see that the brakes are faulty. You can't just keep running up on people and spitting up what you feel without knowing what's on the inside. In today's society, I have to tell you guys, we are going through too much as it is. We are experiencing a pandemic and still are experiencing COVID and variants of it and mutations of it right now as we speak. There are people whose minds aren't right. There are people who, in this time of being in COVID and isolation, are dealing with their own battles. There are people who are stressed out because of lives that have been lost, even if it weren't close to them. And they're wondering, is this going to happen to me? There are people who are healing from things that they have done years and years and years ago. Right before that, I was telling my daughter to just be a bit sensitive when she lashes out of what I could potentially be going through. Yes, I'm a mother. Yes, I'm a motivational speaker, a national recording artist, a TV personality, and a radio personality. But on the outside, everything looks fine. But on the inside, there's something faulty. Listen, I gave an illustration even on the radio. I gave an illustration of the people that we work with. Have you ever watched the news and you heard someone just break? They got terminated or someone was messing with them. Adults, not just children. Children go through it too, but adults I'm talking about. And they just break. They go back in and they shoot the whole place up. Or they shoot the person who was antagonizing them. They shoot the person who literally was just going after them every single day. They just break. And you hear the news report and the report says, this is what happened. But then they talk to the people who work with that person. And guess what they say? That surprised me that that person did that. You know, they come into work every day. They don't say anything to anybody. I didn't even know they had that in them. They say, you know what, this person, you know, we weren't expecting that they would even have a gun. Come on, that they would even have a gun. But you never know what someone is going through. Why is it surprising that the person who's most quiet is the one who will just pop off at you? Because there's something faulty. There are movies out there where you just see the normal average day Joe who's just driving along and some female thinks that she can talk to them any kind of way. That's the person that will crack. What I want to get you to see is your purpose is attached to just that. Being sensitive to what's going on around you. Another transparent moment. My daughter said, ironically, I didn't even know that I was doing this, but there's a certain group of people my daughter said I laugh at. Now, naturally, my family, we're just a very funny family. And so we have grown up to laugh at certain things, even certain people, unfortunately. But my daughter, she brought it to my attention that there's a certain group. And when she brought it to my attention, I knew that I did it, but didn't realize that it was a problem for her. And so I became a bit sensitive towards it, and I never did it again. Now, she wants to know the why. The answer is because that's how I was raised. I didn't mean anything by it, but it doesn't mean that me not meaning anything by it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt the people that I'm doing it to. Listen, your purpose is attached to what I'm saying to you. You may find it harmless to just go after people. You may find it harmless to point the finger. You may find it harmless even to just laugh. But there's something faulty in every last one of us. If you are the person who's pointing the finger, realize this, that there are people who are going through their own struggles in life every single day. They're going through their own struggles in life every single day. What you have to understand, what you have to be able to identify with is how to be sensitive to each person you come across. You don't want to be the person on the news report that said this person was shot down because they weren't sensitive to someone else's nature. Your purpose is attached to that. If you're the person on the receiving end, I want you to understand this, that although you're going through it, although there's something in us, listen, let me remind you, let you without the sin cast the first stone. Let you without sin cast the first stone. If you're without sin, go ahead and cast it. But we are all at fault for something, with something, by something. We are all at fault. But can we be a little bit more sensitive about the fact that one another, we are going through something every single day? Listen, I work with business owners all day long. Their struggles with their businesses. How are they going to finance, especially the smaller companies? How are they going to finance? How are they going to keep their businesses growing? With such an economy, inflation, all this stuff's happening, there are other things that we are worried about. While healing, let me say that again, while healing, there are things that we are worried about. So many people are stretched, even in their minds, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. We are all dealing with a faulty system. Listen, and just because it seems like we are well put together doesn't mean that we are not hurting or there's something faulty on the inside. There's something faulty in every last one of us. I started it off with that. You know, it's easy for us to walk in and walk out, but there's a person pointing the finger just as we're pointing the finger. Now, what happens when you're on the receiving side of that? What happens with that? What happens when you're the one whose finger is being pointed at? Those fingers are being pointed at you for what you've done, what you didn't do, what you haven't overcome. It's time in this season of our lives to grow up. That's just as plain and simple as it is. It's time for us to grow up and realize that the society we live in, it has desensitized the way that we live. Listen, if you were bullied when you were younger, you have now become the bully. I'm going to say that because now it's, instead of you being able to teach the people, you're now bullying. I challenge you today to take inventory of your faults. Take inventory of your faults. Write them down. Make them plain and overcome them. And no longer point the finger at someone else. No longer lash out because you just feel that person looks okay Everyone's dealing with a bit of fault. Listen, I pray that this blessed you guys. Believe it or not, I know that you're going to overcome it. I know that you're going to hear this message and you're going to start thinking about what is faulty in you. Remember, for me, it was my brakes. The young man ran out. He was fine. He thought, hey, I'm gonna run out here and I'm gonna not get hit. But those brakes were faulty, and I thank God that I was able to stop. So make sure that you're able to do the same thing. I'm Shay Samuels, and you have just been motivated. Make sure you connect with me on Facebook at Shay Samuels and on Instagram at officially Shay Samuels. Mwah! I'm out.